It's nearly here. The Saudi Pro League is nearly upon us, the start of the new season. And I've taken a little bit of break away from here just to get myself ready because I'm all in. I'm going to be streaming a game every single weekend on here, probably the Friday night game more often than not, but I'll certainly let people know prior, and I'm ready to lock in from here going forward because there's lots of news to talk about. There is lots of information to go through. There's been more change in the teams on the transfer market side of things. We're going to go through each of the bigger sides. I like to say that delicately, but obviously there seems to be more transfer window and information going through the bigger teams at the moment. Not so much Etihad, which is interesting because Hilal won the league last year and they had quite limited activity in the transfer market. Etihad won it last year. Similar story of those guys. It does seem that the PIF funded clubs do have that kind of give and take a little bit when it comes to keeping it competitive, which I like the sound of. And I think teams like Qadsiya and Neom investing well, Lacazette going to Neom, obviously Qadsiya bringing Regani from Atalanta. Don't know much about the young Italian, but look, he is the right age profile. He's an international. This is the sort of player we want in the Saudi Pro League, particularly amongst the other teams as well outside the PIF funded clubs. I'm going to stick to the PIF funded clubs today because this is where the activity has lived. And at the end, I'm going to tell you who I think has had the best window. And bear in mind, I was one of the few people last year who suggested that Etihad could win the Saudi Pro League last season. I thought their signings of Diaby and Steven Bergwijn, really, really good signs to complement the facts of Fabinho and Kante and obviously Steven Bergwijn, Karim Benzema, and they did it. So, I've got an eye for a good transfer market, and who I say today might surprise you a little bit. But let's go through them, starting with the big boys, Al Hilal, and they've been busy. They have been busy, and they've made two tremendous signings to aid their campaign this year. Of course, they'll be looking to close the gap on Etihad. The first signing was Theo Hernandez from AC Milan, the left-back, French international. Really, really solid signing. The guy's a big guy, he's 6 foot tall. He's not his traditional left-back. He suits this Hilal side very well. Hilal tend to be very set-piece based. I mean, I say that's probably a bit unkind, but they're very effective from set pieces from Koulibaly and Milinkovic-Savic, of course, Mitrovic in the past. And I think he'll slot in very nicely to that sort of style. That back four of Cancelo, Koulibaly, Hambakti, and Theo Hernandez, really strong. Bonu in goal. Milinkovic-Savic, Neves. This is a really solid side, a big side. And of course, you've still got the guile and the cleverness of Malcolm and Salem Al-Tazari. And of course, we now have Darwin Núñez, probably the biggest signing in the Saudi Pro League this summer. A €53 million signing from Liverpool. To be honest with you, they got a better deal, Hilal. Liverpool spent 85 million on him. So the idea that the Saudi Pro League is just throwing money around, this is a shrewd bit of business. Liverpool have lost out here. And Darwin Núñez is 100% a confidence player. And unfortunately, he's fallen into the trap of social media a little bit, where he's had some bad misses. And the social media wolves get onto him and start saying that he's not a very good player. This guy's got quality. He runs the channels. He's quick. He's aggressive. I think when confidence is high, like any striker, when confidence is high, he is a good finisher. He's a sharp shooter. But this is the ideal move for him. He can really restart his career. I think he will get goals. I think he'll run the channels well. I can see him linking with Milinkovic-Savic and Salem Al-Tazari and indeed Malcolm extremely well on that front line. And I think Darwin Núñez will be up there with Cristiano Ronaldo as the top goal scorer this season. And talking of Cristiano Ronaldo, let's talk about Al Nassr, who I think have had a really, really exciting window. It started losing with John Duran, which unfortunately, I thought John Duran would be really effective in the Saudi Pro League. It seemed like maybe there might have been some moving to Saudi Arabia, the culture maybe was a bit of an issue for him because he hit the ground running, getting a brace in his first game, but it just never really seemed to work. Of course, him and Ronaldo up front together as a two, you don't see two strikers playing up front together very often, particularly with Cristiano Ronaldo because he's the main man. He is always going to be the main man. And it can be quite difficult to play second fiddle to that. So maybe the tactics, it didn't quite make sense. They got some money in for John Duran moving to Turkey. But what they've done is they've replenished the attacking forces around Cristiano Ronaldo. And my word, they've really done this. So the first line was João Felix from Chelsea. Now, this did solve a problem for Chelsea because Chelsea just bought so many players. But this is to the opportunity of teams in the Saudi Pro League. Koulibaly was a great signing from Chelsea. Mendy, Ali was a great signing from Chelsea. There's lots of players when teams in the Premier League who stockpile these players, there is opportunity to be had there. And I think João Felix the guy was over 100 million signing for Atletico Madrid when he was 19 years old. He's still a very young man. He's still in his mid-20s, and he is extremely effective number 10. I think he'll play in the number 10 role, which I think is his best role. He's been playing out wide for Atletico and Chelsea, and I think he will supply bullets for Cristiano Ronaldo this season. And of course, the big factor is Cristiano Ronaldo would have absolutely underlined this signing. He worked with him in the Portugal international team. I remember at Real Madrid, Ronaldo loved working with Mesut Ozil, and I think he'll have a similar relationship with João Felix. Also, you have a player in João Felix who needs to rebuild his career. He's still a young man, and I think the move to the Saudi Pro League, a bit like Darwin Núñez, is a great one. And it's the next signing. It hasn't happened yet, but it's had the "here we go" from Fabrizio Romano, which basically means it's done. Kingsley Coman, what a signing! This guy has won everything there is to win in European football, and he's still a young man. He's not, this over-the-hill sort of player. He scored the winning goal for Bayern Munich in the Champions League final. He's won numerous titles at Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, Bayern Munich. I think he was very, very close, if not maybe beat Ibrahimovic in winning 7 or 8 titles in a row. This is a proven winner, and he will be extremely effective on that wing. The only question I would say about the sign of Kingsley Coman, when I think of Kingsley Coman, I know he's one of these, traditional wingers who can play on either side, but I think of him as a left winger. And obviously Mane is currently there. So I guess it means maybe Mane or Coman will play slightly out of position. But this is a great replacement for Talisca, who obviously moved to Turkey back in January. And I think it's something that front four is dangerous. There is goals in that. There is many, many goals for Cristiano Ronaldo, who, remember, one of the biggest signings Nassr could have done this summer was getting him signed. They've got him over the line for the next 2 seasons. Ronaldo will be hunting down these 1,000 goals like you won't believe, like you will not believe. So I think that's really exciting. The biggest problem Nassr have always had, in my opinion, is the defensive reinforcement. For some reason, it's really hard to understand why the likes of Laporte hasn't really worked at Nassr. He's never really settled. He hasn't left, but he seems to constantly link with a move away. He's currently still there, and I think if they can keep him and if they can get a tune out of him, complemented by the new signing of Inigo Martinez, who's a great signing from Barcelona. 34 years old, so yeah, he does fall into that slightly older category. But I think Barcelona signed him for a couple of seasons ago, so they really saw the potential even in his 30s. And I think him and Laporte, suddenly you've got some sort of solidarity there. Suddenly you've got some real defensive structure there. And I think with obviously Brozovic in front of them, there's a spine there. And I think Bento in goal is a sound goalkeeper as well. So you can see where Nassr are starting to build. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in Riyadh this season when it comes to Nassr, because I think they're going to be 4-3s and 4-2s. They're going to be an exciting team to watch. But yeah, I think Nassr will be closer to the top this season with the reinforcements they've made. Over to Al Ahly now, and a much, much quieter summer for these guys. Obviously, they got the massive signing of Ivan Toney last season. They have lost some key players, though. It looks like St. Maximin is on his way out. Obviously, Bobby Firmino is also gone. They lost Gabby Vega as well. So while Ahly are, the Champions League winners, they really, really did flourish last season. They might fall into a bit of a gap here a bit, because while it was fantastic that they won the Champions League last season, they haven't had that reinvestment, and they also didn't finish very high in the league. So I think the Champions League win, while you're always going to take that, and that's always something that is going to live in the hearts of Ahly fans forever, and they've still got real quality in that side. The problem is that it seems that the reinvestment doesn't go to teams that do well the season before. And we'll talk about Etihad in a second, who've had a very quiet summer. Like I said, Hilal last year didn't get much reinvestment. So it seems that there's almost handicap thing on the money goes to teams that kind of keep it tight, keep it competitive, which I kind of agree with. It's an interesting structure to the league when it's PIF funded the way it is. But Ahly might fall in between the gaps of tremendous season on a cup basis, but maybe on the league, I think they'll always be fine. I think they'll always be up there. But do I see them knocking on the door of the likes of, Etihad getting back to that league title picture? I think it's going to be a struggle, but we shall see. Who knows? It could be. It's been a very, very, very quiet window. They bought in the attacking midfielder Vlap, the Swiss player. Remains to be seen on him. But then there is also plenty of time in the window left, and I do see Ahly dipping into the market a bit later on. And with Ivan Toney, they've got genuine goal threat there throughout. Not to mention the likes of Riyad Mahrez, who of course is a wonderful footballer. He is a game changer in his own right, as he proved in the Champions League. And it'd be very, very interesting to see how Riyad Mahrez and Toney continue to link up next season. There's guaranteed goals there, that is for sure. And this brings us on to Etihad, the reigning champions. And again, a quiet summer. And when I say quiet summer, they have brought in Al Ghamdi from Ettifaq. They have also brought in Al Goumaladi from Al Fateh. So, solid signings, good Saudi Pro League players. But the sort of the superstar signing, the Galactico signing, Etihad have not seen this summer. And that is representative of where they finished last season. But Fabinho, Kante, Pereira at the back, Hossam Aouar, Bergwijn, Diaby, Benzema, they're the champions for a reason. They will be very much there or thereabouts next season, I am certain. And Etihad, they won it, with good 3 or 4 games to go. No one saw it coming, although I did have a little bit of a shout because I thought Hossam Aouar, Diaby and Bergwijn were tremendous signings. And not forgetting the goalkeeper as well, Dragovic. But I think for me, assessing it all, looking at the business so far, I would say, and I'm not going to say who's going to win it yet because it's too early, it's not the end of the window yet. I'll be doing that video later on after the summer is closed because who knows what can happen in the Saudi Pro League. There's so many signs that come out of nowhere sometimes. But for me, the best window so far has to go to Al Nassr. Reason being, Nunez and Hernandez are tremendous. There's no doubt about that. But Halal had a great striker, Mitrovic. He scored so many goals. I know he was injured last season. And yes, maybe if he's going to be more injury prone going forwards, Nunez does plug that gap. But it doesn't necessarily enhance the squad like it has done at Al Nassr. Losing Talisca was a big blow. He was a massive player for them. Bringing in Kingsley Coman, who I think is a natural winner. I think he will find ways of making Nassr get over the line. I think João Felix is going to be a very underestimated signing. I think people don't realise how good this kid is. He's been lost at teams. Atletico Madrid didn't really suit his style. He's a flair player playing in a team. Him and Griezmann were very, very sort of similar players. And Griezmann was a god at Atletico Madrid, so he never really fit in there. It was a bad signing, over 100 million. Chelsea, I can forgive any player who gets lost in the shuffle at Chelsea because there's just so much going on there at the moment. I think he'll be number 10. He'll be playing behind Cristiano Ronaldo. They flourished together in the past. I think they'll flourish again. And that is an unbelievable sign. I think Inigo Martinez is underestimated at the back, particularly if they get Laporte back up and running again. But the Cristiano Ronaldo contract signing is probably the biggest signing of the summer in the sense of, A, it's massive for the Saudi Pro League, keeps the eyeballs on the product. Ronaldo's box office, and he writes columns in this country over here in England. Yes, we get Saudi Pro League news, and I would say 80% of that's Cristiano Ronaldo. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't actually agree with that. But Saudi Pro League is in the game with the World Cup in 2034. They are in the game of getting eyeballs on the product, and Ronaldo does that. He is hunting down 1,000 goals. He's going to be super on it this season. I can smell it. And with a 2-year extension, I can see Nassr having a really, really good season. I think Ali will be very much there or thereabouts. Etihad, of course, are the champions. I'm not going to call the league title winner just yet because I've learned in the past, don't get too excited too early. The Saudi Pro League is back. Let's see where we end up. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be more competitive than last season. I can see it already. And I'll be with you all the way. Remember, I'll be streaming A Game live every single weekend, starting with Nassr versus Etihad next Tuesday. Really looking forward to that in the Super Cup. And onwards and upwards we go. All the best from me. I'll look forward to seeing you soon.